alongside Miranda Kahn, J.D. Hayworth, welcoming you back into America's Forum, and officially hello to you this morning, Miranda.
Thank you. Happy Monday.
Yes, and it's a busy Monday
That it is.
with Ted Cruz announcement scheduled, less than a half an hour.
Yeah.
Right now, let's turn our attention to the Garden State of New Jersey. Strict gun laws there lead to the arrests of people for having guns they're actually legally allowed to own.
Yeah, the latest victim of the strict law is Stefan Josie Davis. He's a security guard whose legally owned gun was actually confiscated. That incident made him a convicted felon under the Jersey law. The 24-year-old is now seeking a pardon from Governor Chris Christie.
It's something we have to talk about, and we will do so. We're so pleased that Larry Elder remains with us from Newsmax LA, and Skyping in from the Garden State of New Jersey, Bernie Kerik, the former New York Police Commissioner. Bernie, gun laws in Jersey, how long has this thing been on the books?
Well, the laws are really strict here. They've always been like this, and over the last, I think, year, there were even enhancements on the mandatory minimums. And listen, I don't have any problem with someone that has an illegal gun, or that is someone that is possessing a gun illegally for the wrong purpose. I get that. I understand it. I agree with it. I endorse it. But what we're talking about now are people that have background investigations conducted. They legally purchase weapons. They're authorized by their states, in one case Pennsylvania, in another case, a few cases New Jersey, to own and possess that weapon. But because of the way they were transporting it or where it was in a vehicle, makes it illegal. And instead of some misdemeanor issue or some regulatory issue, these people are charged with felonies. They turn out to be convicted felons. In this last case, this young black man from New Jersey worked for an armored car company, was on the list to become a cop in New Jersey, and he is now a convicted felon. He can't get a job. He's ruined for life, and I think it's wrong.
Bernie, doesn't this put the governor, Chris Christie, in an awkward position? He's in favor of gun control, against allowing citizens to apply for permits to carry. So, and he's also running for president, very likely. So what's he going to do?
Honestly, Larry, I don't know. But these laws have to be addressed. I mean, if he doesn't do it, the next governor is going to have to. He's already, the governor, Christie, has, and I think rightfully so, he's commuted one sentence already of a man that was convicted and sentenced to 7 years in prison for a gun that he legally owned. He commuted that guy's sentence after 4 months in prison. The objective there is to change the laws, fix the laws, so that these things don't happen, and he doesn't have to commute anyone's sentence or pardon them.
Bernie, what do you think is going to happen to Stefan?
I don't know. His attorney is appealing, I know, and hopefully someone will get to the governor and have the governor take a look at this. This is a decent young kid. He's at the beginning of his life, his career. He was a worker. He's paying taxes. He seems like an all-around good guy, and he wanted to be a cop. And he's now lost that eternally for life. Once you are a convicted felon, it's a lifelong collateral consequence that you have to deal with, and it basically imposes personal and professional annihilation for the rest of your life.
So apparently the governor has within his power pardon powers there in the state of New Jersey, does he not? Would you ask the governor just to straight out pardon this young man?
I think he should. I think he should, and I also think that he should look at these laws. I think the laws, this isn't about the cops. This really isn't about the prosecutors. This is about the laws. And I think the laws have to be looked at and have to be changed.
Bernie Kerik, we appreciate your assessment of curious gun laws and, well, unjust laws based on this incarceration of this young man. Thanks for shining the light on that. When we come back, we'll continue We'll talk about what's happening overseas. Of course, Bernie served as the Interior Minister of Iraq about a decade ago when American forces were there. It's very interesting to have his assessment of what's happening not only in Iraq but elsewhere in the Middle East, and we will get that as we continue the conversation with Bernie Kerik and also with our friend Larry Elder out of Newsmax LA. All that and more ahead on a very busy Monday on America's Forum here from Newsmax TV.
Yes, the Department of Defense has been very active over the past many years of reminding service members and their families to be very cautious about the information that you put on social media, disabling your geolocation, being very circumspect about the location of the service members for precisely the reason that has now played out. And I worry that this increasing sophistication by these Islamic terrorist organizations to manipulate social media to their own ends is a very worrying trend.
From this week on ABC News, General Carter Ham on the increasing ability of ISIS to manipulate social media.
Yeah, this as ISIS has published the alleged names and addresses of 100 military personnel online, urging supporters to kill them.
Larry Elder remains with us from Newsmax LA as we continue our conversation with Bernie Kerik, the former interim Minister of Interior in Iraq. Bernie, how concerned should we be about this, quote, kill list?
Well, I think we should be extremely concerned. I think General Ham's right. The whole social media thing is one element of security that we have to be concerned with. The internet in general, the economic data that's the personal financial data that's on the internet today is extremely concerning. But nobody should be surprised by this stuff. I mean, this is, these are things that not only ISIS and Al Qaeda, but a bunch of these radical groups have talked about doing. It's a constant attempt. We also have to be worried about Russia and China and Venezuela, North Korea, hacking into systems here in this country. But this kill list is extremely important because the military, local law enforcement, our legislators, they've already been put on notice that they are on these lists, that there are orders out there for the lone wolves, if you will, to come out and assassinate or kill them. And it's basically it's a way we live now, and we're going to have to live for decades to come.
Bernie, Congressman Michael McCall of Texas had this to say about President Obama's foreign policy, specifically his handling of ISIS. Take a listen.
I think it's a matter of leadership and policy. I think that we're not letting the military do their job here. It's a policy of containment, not a policy to degrade and destroy and defeat ISIS in the region.
What are your thoughts?
Well, look, I'm all for, and I've consistently said this, the commanders on the ground, they know better than anyone. I saw General Petraeus the other day talking about Iran, the threat of Iran on this country. I think he's absolutely right. We have to listen to those commanders. We have to get them the resources they need to do their job, the equipment they need to do their job, the manpower they need, and let them do the job. And in this, there's no diplomatic solution with radical Islam. There is not. It's basically they're going to kill us if we don't kill them. That's the way I look at it, and I think that's the way the government has to look at it.
Bernie, this kill list, are we sure that all the information was obtained from public sources, or was there some sort of security breach?
You know what, Larry, it's premature to tell, and I think the FBI and Department of Defense, their investigators, they'll be looking at it. I think it's too early to tell. Sometimes, as we've seen in the past, these could be cranks. Somebody out there jerking around. But I don't think so. I think this list and some of the other stuff, especially when they have real personal information, and although defense has not confirmed that, I think if it wasn't real information, we would have heard it already. So I think there is some concerns that it's real. And because it's real, it had to come from somewhere, and it's got to be dealt with.
Bernie Kerik, as always, we appreciate your insights on just what is happening with ISIS. When we come back, there is plenty happening on the domestic political scene, specifically Ted Cruz about to officially make his announcement for the presidency. Our good friend John Bachman had a chance to sit down with the senator last month. We'll talk with John, who in turn will talk with Ted Cruz right after this.